Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Super Deluxe Gamescat. I can't talk
take
tonight.
us off and then put us back on.
No, I can't do that. I'm sorry. It's too late now.
Just cancel the whole podcast.
Listen, everyone,
it was a great night.
Thanks, everybody, for coming in.
Please like, comment, and subscribe.
I knew I was gonna fuck that up too. Like I could sense it coming. Like I had like a sixth sense about it. I started talking, and in my brain, I was like, I'm gonna fuck this shit up real good. And immediately it fucking happened. But it is Thursday, April the 14th. We're halfway through the month. I hope everyone listening or watching right now and listening later on all major podcast services, I hope you're all doing okay in these trying, troubled times that we exist in. But for the next, hour and a half, let's not worry about any of that. Tonight we're going to talk about video games. A foreign topic for this podcast, for sure. I'm going to turn my mic down a little bit because I think I'm coming in a little loud. There we go. That's better. All right. So, Blaine, we have a community member on tonight. Blaine, how are you doing, Blaine?
I'm doing good. I don't live above a mean, nasty landlady anymore, and I don't have to live in fear.
And are you ready to talk about some Kingdom Hearts tonight, among other things?
I don't know what a Kingdom Hearts is. Yes, I am actually prepared to talk about Kingdom Hearts.
Awesome.
And special shout out to Sarah, another community member who I know will be with me in DMs helping me if I miss anything.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to have Sarah on again soon at some point too. I miss her.
Absolutely.
No, we are not streaming Fast and Furious Crossers. I changed it. The title update should reflect here in just a second. That was a motherfucking stream, by the way. That game, I tell you what, I actually purchased that game before it left all consoles and platforms forever. Stream that motherfucker.
It got delisted?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's getting pulled. And
oh my God.
Jeff, I gotta tell you, man, you missed out on something special, because boy, oh boy, oh boy. So I'll tell you this right now. You don't actually really play as Dom or Letty. They're playable for like the first 30 minutes of the game, then you play as characters who are new to the franchise. Dom and Letty are, Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez voice those characters with all the urgency and meaning of somebody going through the grocery store line, asking with a cashier asking if they have a Food Lion card. That is the extent of the voice acting that you will find. In fact, it is without a doubt one of the worst games I have ever played in my entire life.
Oh my God.
It deserves to be delisted, and I hope it never comes back. That game, I spent $29 to stream that game for you motherfuckers. It was so bad. Jeff, I thought of you the whole time too, because I know how big you are on family. And you're big on family. Family's important, and you, Jeff, of course, like to live your life a quarter mile at a time.
Actually, quarter kilometer
at a time. Okay, that's right. Yeah. You're in Canada. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Jeff, it's been a while since I talked to you, bud. How are you doing?
Not great, but hanging in there. I don't know if you could see, I've got a new TV behind me because my old one exploded, and I had to empty my savings account for that. So super broke, but got a shiny new TV, so trying to look at the bright side of things.
Jeff sent me a message. He said, yeah, my TV just stopped working, and there's a viscous liquid seeping out of the back of it. And I was like, Jeff, that's probably...
Like pouring out the back. When I looked it up, near as I could tell, it's electrolytic fluid. I think the capacitors blew on it, and it just it was like oil. It was just the whole back of the TV was soaked, and I was like, what the fuck? I've just never seen anything like that.
If a thick, oily... All right, so for anybody listening, if a thick, oily substance starts pouring out of your TV, one of two things is happening. Either your TV is now a portal to Gehenna, or you need to unplug that motherfucker immediately, because that shit's about to light on fire. Rar said, what a segue. Not great. Got a new TV. Got to balance it out. You got to balance it out.
There's a way to the story. I dropped my phone trying to receive it, and it exploded on the concrete. So I also spent $200 replacing
Jeff, holy shit, dude.
It was not a good week.
Jeff, has anything positive happened this week to you, other than being on this podcast tonight?
So you got the new TV. I'll get back to you on that. I'm sure
Okay,
there's
yeah,
something.
yeah. Think about think about it,
As he
and
takes a drink.
yeah, take a
Does
drink.
it-
I
does
don't blame him.
This
Does
drink
it
is
make you feel any
positive.
better if I tell you that our basement's flooded like 3 times this week and we don't know?
Why would that
how
make
we're doing?
anyone feel
sad.
better, Blaine?
That just makes me
but-
sad for you.
No, it should make you feel better because you're not dealing with that.
But you
Would it help
are, and we
you?
care about you.
Would it help you if I told you that my bathtub rusted through, so I have to replace my entire bathtub?
Oh
And
no!
the first quote I got was $5,000.
Oh,
Oh,
God, yeah,
no.
you were
my
texting me about
God.
that.
Also, my washer and dryer at the same time are dying, and so is my dishwasher. Oh, and I have I still have to replace my floor in my little garage area because when Hurricane Ida came through, it destroyed my floor in there. So
Britt,
I
I've got
feel
2
you,
words
Jeff.
for you.
Hmm.
Insurance fraud.
I
All right.
yeah,
I
no,
will fly down there. It's not worth it. I'll just burn your house down.
Yeah,
And you can
that's
start
good. That's
start
good.
fresh.
That's
Good
really
thing
good. That's a good
they're
idea.
good thing they're not listening to this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely not.
For sure. Yeah.
I was gonna say that I'm actually doing relatively well, but now I feel terrible for fucking saying
No,
that.
no.
Woo. All right,
You
let's
feeling good makes us feel good.
I'm actually doing okay. So
good.
So
Let's hop into what we've been playing.
I'm Britt. I'm getting there, Britt.
Let's hop in.
So I will go ahead and kick this shit off. I've been playing Chrono Cross on the Nintendo Switch family of systems.
Chef's kiss.
For
Mwah.
anybody who look, all I gotta say is the Dead Sea, Lean Square, Nadia's Bell, Miguel. If you know, you know.
Yes.
It's one of the greatest moments in JRPGs. Like Chrono Cross, I've got Chrono Cross is a great RPG, and but not the sequel to Chrono Trigger I wanted.
Exactly.
But that being said, there are so many great moments in this game. I have a bevy of JRPGs I play annually. Chrono Cross is not one of them. I haven't played it in like 15, 20 years. I haven't played it in a very long time. So man, when that music hits and you fight Miguel at Nadia's Bell, and you understand the weight behind that battle and the meaning behind it, like man, it still hits really hard.
One thing I didn't realize, when you go to a certain place in the game, you find out that he purposely got locked in there, and I think over time he just went crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been playing that too, and I won't say much because it's your thing, but it's crazy how much I remember,
No,
because
talk
it was
on it.
Chrono Cross is my absolute fucking favorite game of all time. And it is like nostalgia buys into that. It was my first. I watched my brother play Chrono Cross. And then I started playing it, so it was my first like big kid game. It was my first RPG that I really ever kind of played. Like I touched other ones here and there, but this one like it just drew me in, and I went all the way through. And it's crazy how much my brain has retained knowledge. Like there's so many points where the game, like in traditional old school RPG fashion, it doesn't really direct you where to go, but I fucking remember every single step of the way, everywhere I'm supposed to go. I don't get lost. I've only gotten lost one time, and that was because I was trying to do something ahead of time. And I wasn't supposed to be doing it yet. But it's wild how nostalgic it is, and I'm actually a little impressed in my brain remembering all this shit. Like remembering like it's been my short. I think I'm only 30 hours in, and I'm already at the end of the game. And I think it's like a 40-hour game easily, but because I know what I'm doing and because I have the fast forward button, it's been just a fucking breeze.
And no, go ahead.
Well, because I was gonna say, I think I never played all of Chrono Trigger. I actually barely played the beginning of it. I have it on Steam now though, so I need to fix that. I've never played Chrono Cross, and I was just gonna say, like, I feel like a fast forward button on certain older games for their combat has been such a godsend of like being able to recommend these games now when you're so used to things just moving faster.
Or when you get lost, right? Like
Yeah.
like
Or
if
when you
you're
have to do a
running
little
around,
backtracking when you're lost, yeah.
yeah, like it's so handy. Like
when Final Fantasy VIII the remaster came out, like, you know, I will always defend that game's story. I'll defend so many things about it.
That's
The
a
one thing
real
I will
shame.
Shut up, John. The one thing I will admit though is that like before that remaster, the combat, the GF system was kind of broken. You really had to know it inside and out to be able to enjoy that game.
Still
Now that you have accessibility options, you don't really have to. You can actually completely circumvent that and just enjoy an amazing story.
I recently played it, and not recently. I did it in like 2000, whenever it came out. Was it 2018? I platinumed it, and I took a walkthrough with me because I think the combat system, while it's fun, it's not very user friendly.
No, it's not.
You really have to have
that.
somebody telling you, or like reading a guide, which I did, and
Oh, yeah.
it was fine. It like when I replayed it, I used to hate 8. Now I think it's fine. Like I get why people like it, and I don't think it's terrible anymore. But it definitely has its issues.
No, it
Junction
absolutely
system
does.
just breaks my brain every single time. I'm like, what am I junctioning? Like, what does this do?
Mhm.
Let me
fucking hate it
let me
so
clarify that
wanna-
statement then. You can power level at least, so like you can kind of circumvent it almost, but you still have to look up where do I put my spells, where do I put my this, my that.
It's
Alright,
awesome. I've been playing it off and on Switch, and like I just put all the cheats on. So I'm like, fuck, I don't. Christine, my wife, came down and she's like, "What are you doing?" Because I had it on 4x speed and an invincibility, and I was just mashing like regular attack. And she's like, "Are you even fighting?" I'm like, "Oh no, I don't want to do that. I just want to
Just go
I
limit
just-
breaks.
I don't know why you'd want to enjoy. I don't know why
Shit,
anyone
that's-
would want to enjoy the story in that game.
It's not
To-
that
The
bad.
engines
Alright.
are going to kill you in your sleep, John.
To loop
Anyway.
it back to Chrono Cross for just a second.
Yeah, sorry.
I want to specify that I am playing with the classic graphics, with the the classic
I'm
character
playing with
models. I love the new character portraits. I hate everything else about the new and improved stuff. I think the backgrounds look really smudgy and blurry, and I feel like the character models stand out against them way too much.
Are you playing handheld?
I'm playing
or on
handheld.
Okay.
And-
well, I meant you have the OLED. I don't have an OLED, so I
Well-
imagine that's.
Well, but here's the
affecting
thing.
it
Well,
somewhat.
I don't even think it's so much the OLED as it is playing on the classic version, playing in handheld, since everything's smaller, more compact, it makes those character models, especially the classic ones, mesh into the background much better than it would blown up on a big screen. And I like I'm a purist, you guys know that. I like the pixely old school look better anyway. So I'm having a ball with it. I mean, it's Chrono Cross, great JRPG. I'm gonna finish it tonight actually. So
How are the fonts in Chrono Cross?
fonts are okay.
Can you, Jeff?
No, this is important. No, Jeff is right. You got to talk about
Jeff
that.
is not right.
No,
Like-
he's right.
Yeah, I'm
But
done.
he's right. He's right, and I'm glad he
Oh
brought
my
it up
God.
because not so much fonts. Hold on, not so much fonts, but I am glad Square is finally giving us choices in these.
Okay, that's fair.
In these re-releases, right? Like,
That's fair.
I feel like you could go a bit further. I would love to play with the new portraits and the classic. Like, you can't mix and match what you want, and I feel like that's unfortunate. But going forward, I do hope Square Enix gives us even more choice for future re-releases because we know they're happening. So yeah, I've just I've been playing Chrono Cross and of course Final Fantasy 14, which I'm going to talk about that later. I've already gone long enough. Blaine, why don't you go ahead and rattle through what you've been playing this week?
I'll be honest. I've been playing a little bit of things here and there. I actually started a limited run. Finally sent my Sam and Max Save the World copy right before I moved, and I just dug into that. Aside from a few lines that maybe didn't age perfectly, like they just tell you this game was written in 2002. It's amazing how charming it is still, and how well like even just a lot of the visual aesthetics aged, just like with a minor touch up to make it look better on newer consoles. I honestly haven't played much of anything else. Most of my time thinking about video games since I don't remember when last week it happened has been obsessing about a certain remake that has been announced. But I don't know if that's something we're going to get into in the main show or if that's something I can talk about right now.
Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about, so it was not not talked about.
for anyone who's not aware, Max Payne 1 and 2 were confirmed to be getting remakes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's the whole reason I asked you guys if I could come on, honestly. And
It wasn't for me.
But
Rick,
we're not
listen.
but Max Payne isn't a topic tonight.
I know it's not. Maybe Derek
It's
didn't pass
now.
that along. That's why I got rid of everything else I've been playing to talk about it. And Britt, I messaged you like immediately when I got confirmation to be like, "Are you going to be on? Because I'm not drinking red wine if you're not going to be on."
I know. I'm just giving you shit.
I know. But no, so they got their 2 remakes were announced. Some people are saying, oh, they don't need remakes. Some people are saying they are. I think both are correct. They don't need well, okay, let me put this way. Max Payne 1 desperately needs a remake because some gameplay portions of that are so awful that like they are gameplay blockers. There's just bad things like mazes and stuff you got to do that don't work well.
I want to see the nightmare sequence remade.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I think Remedy now with the Control engine remaking it, and like I genuinely didn't think that this was something that was ever going to happen. I didn't think Rockstar was ever going to be like, yeah, no, we'll let you do this or we'll sign out the license or whatever, because they just seemed to be grasping at whatever they could and not really wanting to give anyone, you know what I mean? It blows my mind. And Max Payne 2 is like legitimately one of my favorite games of all time. Max Payne 2 and Max Payne 3. Other than that, I played 5 seconds of Rainbow Six Extraction. What were you going to say, Jeff? I'm sorry.
No, it's just before we move on from Max Payne, I just want to chime in that they look great on Xbox backwards compatibility.
They really do. I haven't seen one. Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right. Yeah, one looks great too.
Interesting. I would have thought that a PS1 game wouldn't hold up as well in 4K because those games weren't made for that kind of resolution. So that's actually interesting to hear.
I was just as surprised because when I turned on Max Payne 2, I was kind of going, this is going to look good, but how good can it really look now that it's backwards compatible? The comic panel like cutscenes actually look incredible.
Interesting.
Like, I don't know if maybe they updated them with like they still had the files or something, or if they just were always that like detailed, but on an old PS1 or an old PC you couldn't get it to that resolution. But they look amazing, and the graphics themselves, like the textures of every environment, look fantastic. It's just the models look kind of not wonky, but they look like Xbox original and PS1 models,
for
PS2
sure.
models,
for sure. Yeah.
I just want the face to stay the same. That's
that
iconic face. Gotta stay the same.
Face is.
See, I'm torn. Because I want to see high res Sam Lake for Max Payne 1, but I'm also like, I would love to see James McCaffrey, the voice actor, just get his face done in modern tech. I would lose my mind.
I thought you were talking about my iconic face.
You do have an iconic face.
I do have an iconic face.
Does he though?
I really
give
do.
Into his ego.
He's the default character in almost every single like AAA shooter that comes out. That's got to be iconic in some way or another.
Of course. I mean, look, we can.
It's unfortunate, not iconic.
I'm handsome as fuck. We can all admit it. Let's just all accept it.
My dad is very handsome. I got to admit that.
Let's just all accept it. Okay, so chat's filling up. Jeff.
God damn it.
What kind of flight simulator are you playing this week? Where have you flown?
I have not been flying because Flight Simulator is still broken. So I'm.
Is it really?
It's just a mess. Like, I mean, I won't get into it. It's just every update they break like 5 things. So right now, I couldn't even explain it to you. Like, it's like major things. Like there's an altitude adjustment, and it's supposed to increment it by hundreds of feet, but it's broken, so it increments it by thousands.
Ooh.
So if you try to adjust the autopilot altitude reference, it'll drop from 3,000 to 0 and like crash inside of it. Like it's just like it's not an unplayable.
So it's Crash Simulator right now. It's
it's
how not to fly an airplane simulator.
I like the bug list on Asobo's like fix list is like probably 300 bugs long, and like they only fix 10 in each update, and it introduces 20. It's just it's fine. I think it's fine for casual people if they want to fly around, but if you're actually using any of the aircraft systems, it's just a disaster. So I've still been playing Gran Turismo. I come on here week after week and say I don't like to play hard games, and I'm just like literally killing myself physically doing the gold license challenges for everything. It's just like I'm talking like
it's because you gotta go fast, Jeff.
Running the same 10-second of track for 4 hours straight until like my hands have fused to the controller. It's just brutal, but it's fun. They patched it, by the way. I actually think you earn too much money now, so I don't know. I hope people are happy. It's ridiculous. I can earn like $4 million in an hour.
So Jeff, I do have, in regards to Gran Turismo, I know you love Gran Turismo. I do have to ask you a question. Did you ever narc on anybody?
I never knocked on no one.
You never narked on no one? Not even Johnny Tran?
SWAT came into my house, disrespect my entire family. No, that's
it
not
was
me.
you!
That's an iconic movie. Speaking of iconic
I actually
things.
watched it again a couple weeks ago, and dude, like, I think the franchise really went off the rails in later years, but dude, that first movie fucking holds up so well.
Name a better tuna sandwich scene in a movie.
I mean, dude,
Wait, which movie?
You can't, dude. Nobody likes the tuna here. No bullshit. Nobody likes the tuna here.
Which movie are we talking about?
The Fast and the Furious, the first one.
Okay. I've never seen any of those movies.
Oh,
honestly.
Blaine, you just broke Jeff's heart. You just broke my heart.
I wasn't avoiding it. I just never got around to it.
Blaine,
I mean, you're fine either way.
I mean,
I enjoy them.
Blaine, I thought
fine.
you were family. There's nothing more important than family, Blaine.
You can't disown me. It's too late, Dad.
Anything
and
else,
then,
Jeff?
Yeah, real quick. I've also been replaying Final Fantasy VII Remake on PS5 finally.
Ah, good man.
I started last year and played up until like Chapter 8. So, yeah, I was looking for something like nice looking to play on the new TV. And yeah, love it as much as ever.
Now, you're replaying. You finished it. You're replaying it, right?
I played it on PS4, but I like mainlined it. I did not touch a single side thing. So now, because I knew I'd replay it eventually, so now I'm doing all the side content, which, as I figured, is kind of bleh. But like, it's a good excuse to just hang out in the world.
Yeah.
And, like,
Well, it's
What
also
do you mean by side content?
Like basically, like I only followed the main objective marker in my first playthrough. So like, I didn't talk to anyone else. I didn't do any side quests.
Oh, you get so much good lore from that.
Yeah, not only do you get
So
good lore, you
maybe
get like weapons and shit too, like new materia.
This time around. So yeah, no, I'm enjoying just taking my time this time, and then I will finally play the Yuffie intermission DLC once
It's
I'm done.
Yuffie.
Did you say Yuffie?
I was about to say the same thing.
Did
but
you
I
say
didn't
Yuffie?
wanna-
Okay, I don't think they've said her name in this new game, so I'm still going by how I read it in the original version. So I'm sorry.
No, you know what? I understand what Jeff is saying because I grew up my whole life. I said my whole life I said Mako. My whole fucking life I said Mako, and then then Nomura comes in. And he's like, no, it's Mako. It's Mako. I don't give a shit. It's Mako in my fucking heart. Okay.
Do we need to have the Titus argument again?
It's
Do
Titus.
we need to go down this road?
Titus.
No, it's Titus.
It's Titus.
It's Titus.
It's
for
Tifa
sure.
and
It's
it's Titus.
100. No.
Now, while we're at it, it is still
Blaine.
Aerith, not
Blaine.
Aerith. I'm sorry.
Blaine.
Tifa. Can
Blaine-
you imagine if it's a Tifa?
Tifa. Blaine. It's Blaine.
It's Tifa and Cloud.
It's Tifa and
Swell.
Titus. It's Tifa and Titus. It's a double standard because it's twice as true. Okay.
So when you use your laundry detergent, is it Tide or is it Teed?
Yeah, Blaine. What is it?
Eid.
I'm gonna leave this call.
I'm out of Teed. I can't wash my clothes. Man, the Teed is really high right now. We probably shouldn't go out in the water. High Teed. Come on, Blaine. Get with the program. It's Titus.
I do not negotiate with conversational terrorists. Okay.
Hey, Britt, would you say your favorite Final Fantasy character is Zidane? Is it
I don't
Zidane?
like that.
I'm
Don't
gonna
like
come
that.
down there and punch you.
Is it
I don't know how any of this stuff is pronounced.
Is it
It's
Zidane?
Zidane, right?
It's
Do you like
Zidane, I thought.
Zidane? Zidane?
So I'm going to talk about what I've been playing.
Go ahead, Britt.
Please do, Britt, save us from this mess.
I have been playing Chrono Cross, which we have already discussed.
But I want
I-
you to discuss it because you love this game.
I could do a whole podcast on it, which I've done and will do again. I've been playing Chrono Cross, and I pretty much said everything I wanted to say about it. It is nostalgic as hell. Makes me think of my childhood and like the good parts of my childhood, not the bad. Chrono Cross is really a game that I escaped into, and I think a lot of gamers have a game that they, if you don't have a good household or upbringing, you have a game that you kind of just like you remember as being like your friend, your companion, and that was Chrono Cross for me. So playing it as an adult has been. Oh, and I haven't played it. Like I never played Chrono Trigger. And I have before I started playing Chrono Cross when I was a kid, and I've obviously played Chrono Trigger now, and going back and replaying Chrono Cross after Trigger has been an experience.
Now
but
you
yeah,
know what like looking at all
Yeah.
the shit from Trigger that Chrono Cross references, it makes it hit much different, doesn't it?
It does. It's like it's the same game, but it's a totally different experience. One, having played Trigger, and two, being an adult and being able to process like the really confusing story more.
That was always one of my questions, was like, I know one is a sequel to the other, but it's not like, it's not a direct, it isn't like, it's the whole thing, it is a direct sequel, but it's not a narrative direct sequel. So like, I was always curious, do you have to play Chrono Trigger to enjoy it? Or
No. Like John said earlier, it is a sequel to Trigger, but it is so off the beaten trail that a lot of people play it on its own, just as its own game.
You
and
wouldn't
try
even
to
know it was a sequel
disassociate
until about
Trigger.
15 hours in, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is wild, Britt, because like 15 hours in, all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, Chrono Trigger references left and fucking right. After 15 hours of like really nothing.
Right.
Isn't that also why they included the Radical Dreamers? It's like is it a visual novel that never was included, or is it just a short that like explains the connections?
It's a short game, and it is the prequel. Like, it's the game between Trigger and Cross, but it's like almost an alternate universe. It doesn't like, it was what Chrono Cross was gonna be, and then they said, nah, fuck it, let's do something else.
Interesting.
I haven't played it yet. I'm going to after I finish Cross, because I just like, when we got the code from Square Enix, bless, thank you Square Enix.
Thank you, Square.
I immediately just jumped into Cross. And
when you texted me your reaction, Britt, like looking at that logo and that first FMV, like, oh, it was so good. I needed something happy. That was so nice to see.
I had to delete it from Twitter because I was not supposed to post that. But if any of you didn't see, I was like bawling. I was crying. Like, it was just a really emotional moment for me. You know, like John said, we did a podcast of it, and I said it was a really emotional moment for me. And he was like, yeah, like, not only is it your favorite game, but you were gifted this game early. Like, you're playing it earlier than everybody else because Square Enix gave it to you. And I was like, you're right. But other than Chrono Cross, I've been playing Fortnite, actually, and Final Fantasy 14. I've been doing some patch stuff there. If you guys didn't see my little...
Ooh, I got something to say about that in a minute, but please finish.
No, go ahead, because I haven't played much. So go ahead.
Are you sure, Britt?
Mm-hmm.
Two things to say about patch 6.1. One, the new PvP mode is much better than the Feast. It's essentially like Overwatch. I
really want to play it. I haven't tried it yet.
It's essentially Overwatch.
Together.
Yeah, let's do it tonight after the podcast, Britt. How about it?
Okay.
But it's essentially Overwatch, where you're moving a crystal towards a goal. The Feast is gone. And also, I will not spoil who it is, but about halfway through the new storyline, and what's really cool is playing through this new, like, you know, the Heidelin Zodiac saga is over. For the first time in 10 years, we're embarking on something new, and there is what appears to be the new big bad introduced halfway through the storyline in 6.1, and it is a very classic Final Fantasy character who I will not reveal here, but I fucking jumped out of my chair and shouted at the top of my goddamn lungs.
Is it in reference to the moon?
I'm not even going to tell you. But
I got spoiled on it, so...
Oh, you did? Oh, you did, Britt? I texted Derek, and he was like, "Oh shit! I don't even play this game, and that fucking rules." So if Britt, you know who it is. A character that a lot of people were expecting to see pop up in Endwalker, given all of the callbacks to a certain numbered entry in the Final Fantasy franchise, and now it would appear that this character is our new villain going forward, at least for a while, and I think it's really cool. The way this character is introduced is just so fucking cool. I'm over the moon about it. Nobody caught that. I'm over the moon.
I caught it.
There you go, Blaine. You know what? You all could have laughed.
I just didn't respond. I wasn't giving you that. I wasn't giving you that.
Wow.
In my defense, I was sitting here thinking about all the few people that it could be if it's the game I think you're talking about, and I'm like, I'm just in Stormblood. I'm not ready for this.
You're in the worst expansion right now.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
I like where it's going.
I like Stormblood a lot.
But here's the thing: even the worst Final Fantasy 14 expansion is good.
That's true.
So, all right, let's jump into the first of our stories
Wait,
tonight. Whoa.
I have the transition here. So listen.
Okay. So you do. Okay, I got you. Got it.
So last year I had only beaten 2 games, and they were not hard games. It was Life is Strange and Boyfriend Dungeon. This year I'm going to be beating 3 games, and they're hefty games, all right? It's Horizon, I beat Pokemon, Arceus, did it right this time. And it's going to be Chrono Cross, which are like beefy games, and I didn't play much last year because it was really hard for me to sit down and focus, if that makes sense. And I was playing a lot of World of Warcraft at the time, and I obviously stopped playing when news broke out of the harassment and the terrible working conditions at Activision Blizzard. And things are starting to trend in the right direction. Like they're paying their God, what was it? I can't remember. They're paying their employees like they should be, and Microsoft is buying them out, so that's hopeful. And is Derek joining?
Something happened. Oh.
We have a magical guest.
Oh.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, boo-boo.
It's my favorite
Hello.
Dembo. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I can't get my fucking camera to work for some reason, but I'll work on that.
Yeah, it's right now. I'm seeing some flashing green lines, kind of like the Matrix.
I'm just seeing black. Wait.
Now I saw. There was no signal there for a minute. There was no signal. I feel.
I'll figure out
like
my camera shit.
You're coming in. Okay, yeah. Figure that shit out, Derek.
They're hacking their way in.
I was really World of Warcraft was a really cathartic game for me. It was just everything I needed at the time, and there's that. Look at that face.
Look at that handsome boy.
Hi, everybody.
That handsome face.
Look at that shirt. I love it.
Yeah.
So it was really cathartic, and when I lost that, I didn't miss it. And now that there's going to be a new expansion announced, it's kind of been leaked that it's going to be referencing dragons, the dragon characters and the dragon lore. And that is one of the most interesting parts of Warcraft to me. And, I was really, really considering going back and just seeing how the community is, seeing, how things have changed. And then we got that news drop of the lawyers quitting the Activision Blizzard case because the government is stepping in. And I want your guys' thoughts on this.
So
how do we proceed going forward? Like, do we continue not supporting this? Do we give it a chance? Overwatch 2 is coming out. Overwatch is such a huge game that people love. And, that's also something I wanted to get again. So what do you guys think? Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I don't understand the situation with Gavin Newsom and Activision Blizzard. What exactly is happening there?
What's the word I'm looking for? The accusation is that Newsom is basically interfering on behalf of Activision and trying to get heat off of Activision, and that may be why that attorney was let go.
That sucks.
That's an accusation. It could end up not being true. But I think cynically, most of us are used to the idea that Democrats follow the money. When it comes down to money versus social issues, they're going to follow the money.
Who's making
fucking truth?
Who's making the accusation?
It was one of the other attorneys working on the case.
Right. Okay.
Right. So
Right. Gotcha.
somebody got dismissed, right? And then
Right.
another
Melanie
person,
Proctor, I believe her
got
name is.
another lawyer stepped down because of it.
Yeah, she's leaving the case because and making the accusation as she leaves. So
Here, do you want me to read the actual quote from the article?
Yeah, please, Blaine, go ahead.
Well, it's not a quote from the article, but it's the article. Melanie Proctor, the Assistant Chief Counsel for California's Department of Fair Employment and Housing, said in an email to staff Tuesday night that she was resigning to protest the fact that her boss at the agency, Chief Counsel Jeanette Whipper, has been abruptly fired by the governor. Both lawyers had already stepped down from the Activision lawsuit earlier this month without explanation. A representative for the two attorneys confirmed that Proctor had resigned and Whipper was fired. So I mean, I haven't read the full article, I'll be honest with you. I just going off of what I have seen being talked about, it's just like Derek basically summed up. There's interference going on clearly. To what extent, I guess we are not going to know until everything comes out.
But I think in regards to like what Britt was asking, which is like, okay, well, what the fuck do we do?
Right.
Like, here's the thing. I think most of us had made up our minds a little more strongly one way or another as of the news of the buyout. Right. Especially knowing that like Kotick almost certainly is not going to be there long term. Like where I come from is somebody who is a longtime Blizzard fan, but also swore off of them with a lot of this news. I was like, okay, Kotick's fucking gone, and that's a good sign. And a lot of people had been kind of scapegoated out in like the mid-level with the idea that it was going to protect Kotick, but now we know Kotick's going out too. So I think that can potentially be a very healthy start for Blizzard, but we're not going to know until Microsoft actually buys them. And I mean, Gavin Newsom can fucking glug on my grundle as far as I'm concerned.
But why?
Oh my god, that was the sexiest thing that has been said on the podcast tonight.
It doesn't fucking change like the situation that's going on inside Activision. It just changes whether or not like this fuels my frustration with the US legal system. But
right, which we knew was corrupt anyway, right?
Well, but so my question is, why would Newsom intervene at all?
Money.
But
did people donate to his campaign? But potentially.
Well, I guess Bobby Kotick could be a campaign donor, right?
Yeah, because it does. We always talk about how these people donate to Republicans, but the truth of the matter is that the money flows to whoever's in power.
Yeah,
like they are definitely big corporate interests and rich motherfuckers, and people like Bobby Kotick have it in their best interest to donate to Republicans because Republicans more closely align with their politics. But if you're going to donate to anybody in California, you're going to donate to Democrats. Why would you even donate to Republicans? They're not going to fucking win the governor race.
Not only that, sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, so you donate to, the Democrat that you think is going to win, and you make them feel like they owe you something. I mean,
Well, and I was going to ask too, like, I mean, if they're a California-based company, that's why all of this is taking place in California, right? So even if you get out of the realm of donations, it's still bringing money to the state. So the governor's going, oh shit, we need to keep money coming into the state. So we don't maybe want to rock the boat too much. I mean, that's how I looked at it when I first
the governor's interests would almost be it cynically kind of at odds with the actual attorney general of the state in this regard.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see what you're getting at.
So if I may, to add on to an answer to Brittany's questions, like what do we do? I want to bring up what Virender Jubal actually said in the chat, where workers had flat out said, they didn't want people to boycott the game. And I think something that, how do I put this? Something that seems to go overlooked, even though I have to phrase this very carefully because I've been drinking red wine, but also because it's a very tricky, specific statement. Something that goes overlooked often is both the desires of those who are directly affected by these abuses, but also the greater look of a lot of show-offy attempts at activism versus actually doing something about it. Derek, you've talked about this at great length on the podcast before about, the kind of where true no ethical consumption under capitalism does come in, but then at the same time, like, you can't just keep giving your money to a company like this. So I guess what I'm getting at is, like, there is honestly no best option.
Right.
There's just not. I mean, number one, it's, again, to make another, I guess, reference, or because it helps me make this point. When the Chick-fil-A thing happened, and a lot of people were saying, well, I don't know what other people could be doing, so whatever. And Paul F. Tompkins, a comedian, made the really good point of, but you know that this company is doing this, and this is a small, like, family-owned company that knows the money goes right to shitheads. So don't support them. You're weighing all these options, and it's just... It's like it's one of the worst positions to be in, of like, what do you do? What is the ethical move? There really isn't one.
Jeff, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I mean, basically agreeing with everything Blaine and Derek said, and just, further to what Britt said, like, what do we do? It's the same thing. Like, there's not a right answer, and it's gonna differ. I'm not gonna judge anyone for how they decide to handle it. My approach has always been, especially the last couple of years, it's not about boycotting. I don't even have Twitter now. I'm not going on and spouting off, I'm not buying Activision Blizzard games because I'm a good person. Like, I don't give a shit if people know that. I don't even talk about it, really. I just made a decision a couple years ago, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to be complicit or support games that are made in an environment like this.
Exactly.
So it's just a gut decision. Like, when I give money to something, and the games that I buy and enjoy, I never really know the situation inside there. There's way more stuff we don't even know about, but I'm not gonna engage with that when I know that, hey, this is the environment that produced this game. It doesn't make me feel good. It has nothing to do with activism. It's just
exactly
that doesn't make me feel good to play and buy those games. So I haven't bought a Ubisoft game in 2 years. I haven't bought a CD Projekt Red game in years. I haven't bought an Activision Blizzard game in a couple of years, like THQ, like, just, and my thing is, like, it's hard. Like, when is it right? And when is it okay? Like, when are things fixed? I don't know. Like, the best I can do is look out for what the employees are saying, what the workers are saying. And I just look for a sign that there's change, that there's positive improvement. And we saw that a little bit with Rockstar. I felt a little bit better about buying some of their stuff recently because there was some articles about big changes after Kotaku, and Jason Schreier wrote some articles. Probably still problems, but I haven't seen any notion that Ubisoft has meaningfully made any significant good changes. I haven't seen any notion that things are better at Activision Blizzard. As far as I know, it's exactly the same. And until Microsoft cleans house, it's probably going to be the same. So
I would say the one positive thing is Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard.
Well, it's hope, but, like, we just had a story about which Microsoft studio was it that is, like, rife with really bad work environment.
Well, was that?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember.
Microsoft owned, or was it? Are we talking about Moose?
I think it was the Wasteland studio.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
And it was because of their hands-off approach, because they're like, hey, we're just, you do your thing. And that's great when a studio is functioning well. But I said this at the time Activision Blizzard was bought. When a studio isn't, that approach doesn't work. You have to get in there and fucking clean house. And so I hope, like, it's a good sign. I'm not trying to be, like, such a downer. I want to believe it's going to get a lot better.
And that's like the thing that we struggle with, right? Is all these, it's not just an Activision Blizzard problem. Riot's been in the same position, Ubisoft, which you talked about, and it's like, when is it okay to start supporting these things again, right? And when, like, in order for things to change, I think, in a more positive light, I think the whole industry needs to have a change. And, like you said, Rockstar is working on that. And, we did have one positive thing is Blizzard now paying, I think it was their testers, right? I can't remember who it was.
I thought it was Activision Blizzard was making like a shitload of testers, like, our QA folks, full-time employees instead of contract.
Right.
There was a double edge to that. It was like, they're making them contract. Exactly. It was a whole thing of like, but you folks unionized, so you don't get this benefit, and it was like,
So
yeah, I know. It's
Here. If I can just steal the mic again for a second.
Absolutely.
How I look at this kind of thing, the closest to, like, a broad general approach I can think of is I am a Jewish trans pansexual woman. J.K. Rowling, we all know. I don't need to get into it. I can just say her name, and we all know where I'm going with this. I am not going to look at someone who goes, I decided to play this game and go, you're a piece of shit, fuck you, I hate you, blah, blah, blah. I know there are actually trans people out there, Jewish trans people even, that still have some connection to this series and whatnot. I'm never going to be like, oh, fuck you, you played this game. However, if all I see you doing is basically talking up one of these things, whether it's the Harry Potter thing, or whether it's Activision Blizzard, or whether it's Cyberpunk 2077, if I just see you consuming this stuff mindlessly and just promoting it, and never even bringing up those being affected, that's the person that I'm going to be the most to be like, go fuck yourself. Just get the fuck out of here with this shit.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna give like stink eye at somebody if I feel like that's all. If you're taking this completely uncritically, like you can have problematic faves. I don't think Jeff. I actually love that you brought up your approach, because I actually wanted to bring up your approach that like this is deeply personal and you kind of have to decide for yourself what you can live with, as long as you are knowledgeable in terms of what is happening. But like that's also a big part of why we can't go around bludgeoning people on the head. Like, what do you fucking mean you bought Overwatch 2? What are you, a fucking scab? Like, that's not how this is gonna work.
And boycotts don't work unless you organize, so that you can't even use that argument half the time.
So I think that, excuse me. I think that, and I want to kind of circle back to that Chick-fil-A comparison, because I think sometimes it is appropriate to judge people for the products they consume, and sometimes it is not.
Absolutely.
For example, I will judge you if you give your money to Chick-fil-A. I'm going to judge you, and I'm going to judge you poorly, because
this is better chicken sandwiches that don't have game.
But there's a deeper aspect of this, right? Like one, you know where that money's going, especially given all of the really rising wave of anti-LGBTQ sentiment and laws sweeping this country, and kind of the dark recess that we find ourselves kind of sinking into on a daily basis, it seems. I will absolutely judge you for eating Chick-fil-A, and I don't want to hear people say, I mean, because nobody has a fucking, like, you know, Chick-fil-A saved my life at one point, right? Like, you know, this fucking, I was in a dark place.
This fucking chicken sandwich changed my life.
Like, Chick-fil-A stopped the bleeding at the last minute.
Nobody said, nobody
there
on
was,
earth.
There was one set of footsteps in the sand.
It was fucking, and it was when Chick-fil-A carried me. And like, nobody's ever gonna say I was in the darkest place I've ever been, and those fucking waffle fries were the only thing that brought me back from the precipice. Like, nobody's gonna fucking say that shit. But when it comes to like Blizzard, and when it comes to Blizzard, you know, I personally am not going to patronize them with my cash, but people have real world deep intimate connections to games like World of Warcraft. People get married through these games. And because of that game, people have families and children. I'm not going to judge anyone for wanting to go play World of Warcraft. It means something to them. Just like I'm not going to judge anybody for reading Harry Potter, right? Yeah, I know that J.K. Rowling sucks, but I know people who were literally having brain surgery, and you know, like 10 years ago, and reading the entire Harry Potter series is what kept that person going. So I think that, you know, I think it's appropriate to judge people when they consume products that they know are going to fund something deeply, deeply harmful, like Chick-fil-A.
Well, and the reason I brought it up in the first place is because, like, Chick-fil-A is a family-owned company that is just literally money go to pieces of shit go to other pieces of shit. It's not like where Acti is like a publicly traded company, so you genuinely can't exactly say where every single dollar is going, but it's enough to have that personal conversation with yourself of, am I okay with this or not? What am I going to do about this?
Also, Derek, don't be a fucking coward. Say that shit out loud with your chest. Like, talk that Popeye shit. Talk that Popeye shit.
Not. I'm not gonna make fucking Little Nicky references out
No,
loud.
no. What I mean, no, Derek, Derek. I'm talking about Popeyes in general. Talk about that,
dude.
No,
Popeyes
chicken, fucking awesome.
Oh,
Like,
God.
why the fuck would you eat at Chick-fil-A when you can have a Popeyes spicy chicken sandwich? Like, I don't fucking get it.
Chick-fil-A sandwich, it's not that good.
It's not even that great.
It's
like,
congratulations, we made a soggily breaded chicken sandwich and squirted a little pickle juice on it.
Ooh, White people figured out brining and they still made it mediocre somehow.
I had a fucking Popeyes spicy chicken sandwich for lunch just the other day, and dude, their fries don't get the fucking respect they deserve.
There is inevitably a hot chicken place in your town locally that is way fucking better.
Oh, dude, are you talking about Hangry Joe's?
I've never been to Hangry Joe's, but I bet it's amazing.
I want to say right now, Anna Rianne says the fucking truth in the chat. And again, Wendy's spicy chicken was, and always will be better.
No, what the fuck? No, what the fuck is this bullshit? They might have great. No, what? No,
it's better than Chick-fil-A. It's better than Chick-fil-A.
But it's not better than Popeyes.
Well, that's not what
it's on par.
It's not the point.
Okay,
You're right,
okay. I thought they were okay. Yes, it's better than Chick-fil-A. I thought the argument was. I thought the argument was it's better than Popeyes, which is bullshit. That's not true.
This sandwich argument has like overtaken the
Blizzard wars were over.
Right. To circle back around.
Popeyes. Better.
I want to make a demolition reference so bad. Sorry.
To circle back around, I'm really glad I had this conversation with you guys because it's been something I've been mulling over in my head. Can you let me talk?
All right, I'm sorry.
You should be. Sit down.
I'm sitting down.
Sit lower.
All right.
Scoot that chair a little bit lower.
No, because you might break the chair.
Anyway, so it's been something I've been mulling over in my head for some time, and like, I think you guys are right. I think it does boil down to choice, but if I funnel my money into Blizzard, and I don't support them, either if they're getting my money, if they're not getting my money, right? That's a decision I have to make. And like Blaine said, if you support something like Chick-fil-A, you're supporting something bad. If you support something like Blizzard, that money isn't just straight going to Kotick, right? It's being distributed throughout the company. If you do a subscription, if you buy a game, whatever, and it's not a view I had before. So I'm glad I had this conversation to kind of make me see there's other different perspectives, and if I choose to go back or purchase a Blizzard product, I don't have to hate myself for it. As much as I hate what's going on, ultimately there are people that are probably getting laid off and not being paid. And Ash said this on a podcast that I think it was the first time we talked about the Activision Blizzard shit. If you stop supporting a game, it's not affecting Kotick in any way. It's affecting the smaller workers, the people who work on this game, the people who are passionate about it. And I honestly do believe, despite what has gone on, I honestly believe that there are people who work in Blizzard who are passionate about what they're doing. They're passionate about the games that they're making, and I don't want to see them suffer. So if this is something I need to do, I have to remember that, and I can't beat myself up about it. So
I will say, I mean, I'm not an authority on this, but one thing to also remember is, as much as everything you just said was 100% correct, Britt, and I'm there with you. Another thing that I think is always important to bring up in these conversations as well is that you also can't go, well, if I'm supporting this, then at least I'm supporting the devs on the bottom floor, because as I think Derek, you brought this up about 2 or 3 weeks ago when this came up with. I want to say, because you talked about something you learned at Nintendo, working at Nintendo, basically, or actually, I might be confusing two things. Either way, the thorough line of oh, well, if you don't support this game, then what if people get laid off? A lot of those people are going to get fucking laid off regardless, or even were laid off before you even spent your money. So it's that forever imbalanced thing of just, you have to ask yourself. Say again, Derek.
I was gonna say it's almost like in order to fix the gaming industry, we must first dismantle capitalism.
I was honestly gonna say, because I've even gotten in arguments with people on social media, arguments and debates about this, that like, people are like, oh my god, what if the video game industry crashes? And I'm kind of like, honestly, at this point, if it happened, I would almost rather that happen and then it maybe be able to build itself back up a second time and we could get rid of a lot of these shitty companies. But like, because so many of what's going on in these different companies is not going to be removed by just, oh, we switched out a CEO, we have a new HR rep. Like, you have to rip this shit out at the roots to really make change.
That's a good point to bring up, because we had two new not CEOs but head of Blizzard, and one of them quit, who was a female, because she was not able to appropriately make the changes she wanted to, because she was being held back. So
Wasn't she also getting paid less than Mikey Barra
She
was?
was.
I have no idea.
No, she was. No, she.
How
she
incredible to hire
she confirmed
two
was. Yeah.
co-leads of the company and pay the woman like, wow.
And she also did, from what I heard, she did twice the work Ibarra did. Like, he never showed up to meetings.
Well, that goes without fucking saying.
Yeah, I mean, Mikey Barra has always fucking
That's like
sucked.
every woman in every industry next to every man.
Mikey
in every
Barra is a
industry.
fucking jail son if I've ever seen one.
News flash to like, Mikey Barra sucks. He's always sucked, and he will continue to suck in the future. Like, he's like the Rudy Giuliani of video games. Like, people held him up on this pedestal for so long, but he's really just an ass.
John, I'm sorry. Virender brings up another really good point. This was an Asian woman, not just, if he remembers correctly, not just a random white woman either. So it's just adding the institution of racism on top of this payment imbalance.
Right, and that's it was about racism, sexism, and it's like, if you're gonna hire a person of color who is also female, you need to be paying them just as much, if not more, to show that you can't just put a woman in power and be like, okay, we're good. Like, no, you have to give them the same benefits, if not more. You have to show us that you're committed to.
But Britt, commitment is hard, and I just want to make video games with women with big titties. I had way too much red wine. I'm sorry.
No, don't.
I
apologize.
wish I could say you're wrong. Like, no, you're right. Men have an issue with commitment, and women. So the fact that this is happening is when it first came out, I said I'm surprised, but I'm not. Like, and if you're surprised, you haven't been paying attention. Because it's a constant theme, not just throughout the industry, but in gaming in general. Women are seen as inferior compared to men, as characters, as
people.
Yeah, like in any genre,
like, let's just call it what it is.
And it's funny. Okay, we'll switch to the NVIDIA stuff after this, but it's funny to me that all these women who are famous on Twitch, and even women who aren't famous, even women who are just streaming, trying to get a following or whatnot, it's, oh, you're only doing it to get attention, you're only doing it to get money, you only have views because you have tits and you show them. And it's like, time and time again, Twitch will release like the list of who's the most subscribed to, who's the most like watched, and it's just a list of men. It's a fucking list of men. Like, Pokimane, who's probably the most famous female streamer, not on the fucking list. It's all men, and it's all shitty men, right? Like, it's not even like,
it's fucking dudes like Ninja
and fucking XQX.
It's fucking white dudes with no fucking personality whatsoever, other than being
it's white dudes who
loud.
Rage at video games. That's what it fucking is.
Hold on. People in chat did not know that the Wendy's girl, redhead pigtail girl, is real. That's a real person.
I'm just as shocked as you are, John.
What the fuck? I did not know that.
That's Dave Thomas's daughter.
I'm gonna also say that, like, dudes get pissed at, oh, well, women are just doing it for attention, and that's why they've got their titties out or whatever. It's like,
I hate
like
that
that's
shit.
why they're getting all the views and all of the donations.
Then
And it's
one,
like, my
stop
boys,
watching.
why are you? Who is giving them all of the views and the donations?
This
Right.
is the same group that
It's-
every time like a black woman is like the default main character of a new story, they start losing their shit and saying, "Oh my god, why can't I have a character I can relate to?"
Or stop forcing diversity and this company's woke now. We can't
So,
support them anymore.
Those guys like you were just referring to, like you know, who get mad at, you know, prominent women streaming on Twitch, right?
Yeah.
These
guys
guys,
to like Fresh and Fit, right?
It's not about that individual woman themselves. It's the fact that these guys have a burning hatred for all women because they feel slighted, and this is just a woman that they can vent their frustrations on in a public avenue. And that's what this is. It's a problem. It's not that these dudes hate that particular woman. It's that they hate women, and they just need a target. They need a prominent target.
Anyone that doesn't look like them.
So
and
right,
their own
and so
bullshit.
that woman becomes to them a conduit, a representation of all women.
Y'all see, who here saw James Gunn's Suicide Squad?
I did.
Unfortunately, yes.
No.
David, did you say unfortunately?
Are you serious, John?
No, yeah, okay, yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, I hate
I'm
that
going
movie.
to fucking fight you. Anyway,
You're gonna fight me, Derek?
Polka Dot Man. No, I'm gonna lose, but that's okay. some fights
I'll
are worth
help you,
losing.
Derek.
Polka Dot Man constantly sees his mom's face on everybody, and that's just every one of these fucking incel dudes.
Yo, that's
like
a good
the first
allegory.
girl in high school who he asked out and didn't want to date him because he didn't wear
Oh,
deodorant.
Good comparison.
Don't ruin Polka Dot Man for me though. That's legit.
Good
That's
comparison.
legit trauma.
All right.
I will end on this. You know, if you, and we're kind of getting off topic here, but if you are somebody who shits on women for you know, posting photos where their cleavage is showing, or just if you're shitting on women for being sexual and you watch porn, you shouldn't be watching porn.
Yeah.
Like if you are going to shit on women for doing something that you are participating in, you should not be doing it. If you have a problem with women being sexy, don't watch porn. Don't engage. And if you do watch
Why are
porn,
men out here showing their juicy ass lips in public? It's like they're just flaunting them.
So yeah, that's what I'm ending on. Support women, support victims, and if you are going to support companies who are problematic, just keep that in mind going forward. And keep that in mind going forward, and just be vigilant in what you're doing. And you know, it's a decision you have to make, and you have to live with your choices, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. You just have to be aware of what you're supporting, and you know, if you're going to support them, that's fine. Just, you know, be aware and make sure if you're going to be aware, just make sure you're letting people know that you are still in support of the workers and the women. And yeah, that's it. I think that's a good wrap up on it.
Metal Slug Tactics looks great, right?
The fucking does. Anyway,
so we'll final topic tonight. We will go ahead and roll into that one. If you needed, and Britt, by the way, before I go any further, that was all very well said, Britt. So thank you for that. I wanted to.
Thanks. I'm a little tipsy, so I was like,
no, that was great. No, fantastic.
Am I making sense?
No, you absolutely are making sense. So apparently the chat wants tonight's final topic to be juicy ass lips.
Well, I think some of them think it's juicy ass lips, but I can't tell where they think the hyphen goes.
Yeah,
and that's concerning. But
yeah.
So if you needed any more proof that Nvidia leak was in fact real as fuck,
let's get into it.
Then so Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced. I hilariously at like 4 a.m. on a fucking Sunday morning, by Square. And I'll tell you what, so this is going to kind of be a dual conversation. We're going to focused on Kingdom Hearts, but also focused on this Nvidia leak. And
What is there to focus on with Kingdom Hearts?
Sora's feet, apparently.
Wow.
They're like normal.
Can we
do
stop?
Talk about feet.
Everything not to talk about.
What? No, people are like,
We don't
where's
know
his
if he's
huge
an adult
shoes?
yet. Can we
Everybody
stop?
is willing to.
Where is his huge shoe? Like, people are freaking out that he doesn't have the big
Okay.
clown shoes anymore.
Okay. Let
I
me
can
let me
actually answer
refocus
that.
this.
No, that's
I
what
can answer that too because I just read about it today.
that's what people
Well,
are
I didn't
talking
read
about.
about it, but I can just say, like, look, every time he goes to a different world, his whole design changes. If he's in the quote unquote real world, then it makes sense he would have a real world design.
So Nomura has straight up said that this is an alternate universe, an alternate world, and it's the real world, but it's the alternate world. The world that he is from is the real world. So he's technically in an alternative
Yeah.
world.
My brain
And
broke.
Donald and Goofy are on the way to go rescue him. So the real question we should be asking is what the fuck are Donald and Goofy going to look like when they get to the real world?
They are
do you mean?
going to look incredible, is what they're going to look like.
I'm serious. That is what Nomura has come out and said, that the Kingdom Hearts world in that universe is the real world. Shibuya and the world that...
I just saw the same thing, but I don't. It looked like someone was just driving by your
It's
house.
fucking Beignet
It's
piled down
Mothman.
the door to get in.
Oh.
So the...
So Donald's just going to be a
just
regular duck.
ass duck and a regular...
Yeah, Donald's just going to walk around like a
Well-
regular mallard duck.
well, look,
like,
Based on what Sarah, again, friend of the show, told me, was that basically the whole real world thing, to elaborate on what Bert was saying. Sorry, I'm a little tipsy too. Basically, like when you die in the Kingdom Hearts universe, the afterlife is essentially the real world, and in this case, Shibuya. So, like, I guess the implication is that Sora is dead, and Donald and Goofy were exploring
so
the
wait a
realm
minute.
of Hades.
I've learned
from
Wait,
so
Disney
wait a
much
minute.
about
Wait,
Kingdom
wait,
Go
wait,
Hearts
find
wait,
it.
wait. So hold on.
against my will.
You're
from
telling
the
me.
mobile game,
wait,
apparently.
hold on. Back up. So when people in the
We're not
Kingdom
even
Hearts
going to do
world,
the Nvidia list.
so
apparently,
so
today.
when
We
people
will.
in the
we're
Kingdom
just going to
Hearts,
yell about Sora's feet
hold
and
on,
realistic
wait.
ducks.
when
If one more person brings
what
up
you're
Sora's
telling
feet-
me, what you're telling me is that when people die in Kingdom Hearts, they go to Shibuya.
Well, no, not exactly. Apparently, if it's balanced in the whole thing of like if you become a heartless, you become like if your heart is stolen,
You
and
go to
get
like
killed or
Texas
whatever,
if you
It's
become a
almost like
heartless.
there's
No,
going to be a
no,
whole
no.
game that
No, no.
explains this
you become a heartless
eventually.
in the regular thing. But like, but if you're, I guess if you're like, if your soul is strong enough to withstand whatever, then you go to Shibuya. I don't know anything else
Yeah,
beyond
if you
that.
become a nobody, you
I'm
go to like
paraphrasing.
Florida.
Listen, I don't know why you guys are so surprised that this Kingdom
That's what I'm
Hearts
saying.
lore is confusing as fuck, because it's been confusing as fuck for the 22 years it's been out. Like ever since Chain of Memories came
Can't
out,
be
it was
22
just all
years.
Yes.
fucking yeah.
If you become a
No.
nobody,
We're
you go
old,
to. If you
Derek.
become a nobody, you go to Jersey Beach.
Is that what getting
Alright.
Norded is? You just join the Jersey
You-
Shore
yeah,
cast?
pretty much. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the most thing that I'm excited about from the Nvidia leak is
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 9. Final Fantasy 9.
So that
Please
Final Fantasy
don't
9 remake is
Chrono
real.
Cross it. Make it good.
Well, it has to be a
Make it
remake
amazing.
because me and John and Jeff did a podcast about this NVIDIA leak back in December. It's where I made the original version of this list. And like Final Fantasy
Great.
IX's already had its Chrono Cross remaster. The
Yeah.
version that's available now is, that.
Yeah.
So
7,
I-
8,
there's
9,
nothing to
10,
do.
10, 2.
I
they
have
all
a
got it.
prediction for the Final Fantasy 9 remaster. I see a lot of people saying it's going to look like Zidane's going to look like his model in Dissidia. It's going to be like Final Fantasy 7 remake. You guys need to shelve that shit right now. It is not going to be anywhere near that. What I think it's going to be a 1-to-1 remake of Final Fantasy 9 with either hand-drawn visuals or did you see what they're doing with the original Final Fantasy 7 game on mobile? They're like it
Not
looks
gonna
like
be like that.
Oh, no, but what I'm saying is it's gonna be the same game, but it's going to have a nice updated look to it.
I don't think they can make a 1-1 FF9 remake that's just prettier because again, they
Yeah.
already did that. I mean, it's not as much prettier, but you can't do it again. Like,
I
you
mean,
need
they
to-
could make it look like the CG cutscenes. Is the furthest they could take
you
that,
need
I
to
think.
make it an RE4 remake situation, right? You can't remake Resident Evil 4 because you've
But, like-
re-released it enough fucking times and remastered it enough fucking
Yeah.
times.
I
that
get
you
what
gotta
Derek-
make something a little different.
I
get what Derek's saying, but like the Final Fantasy IX, this is where we get like into these terms. It's not a remake. Like in yours, I could tell they barely even changed any
they
assets.
didn't change much. Yeah,
It's just running at a much higher resolution.
at least from
They
a character
touch
model.
up textures, touch up the backgrounds. They
Okay.
cleaned up. It is the same thing they did for like the
Yeah.
FF8 HD remaster, right? And for 10 and for 12
Yeah.
and but like there's not much to do. See, kind of like John, what you're describing is almost like the Blue Point approach. And I don't think that's going to happen.
I do. Like, I don't
So what's
see
the alternative? Like,
Yeah.
I'm with John. Like, I see it being a marginal upgrade. I don't see it being like a Final Fantasy VII over. Like, so what's the
changing the storyline and I don't.
No, I don't think it's that. I think FF9.
Like, technically, like what are you envisioning?
And this is genuinely my expectation. It's not the thing that I want the most, because the thing I want the most is for FF9 to get the FF7 remake treatment.
That ain't gonna happen.
The FF7 remake to get canceled. But
Derek.
Because
wow.
But he's not wrong. He's not out of line.
But
oh my god,
I'm expecting. Look, here's the deal. Like JRPGs exist in between $20 remasters and $60 Act 1s, right?
Yeah.
Like new Tales of games get
made.
We had Scarlet Nexus not that long ago. Octopath, Bravely Default. Like these games exist. There's Dragon Quest, right? Dragon Quest 11 was huge. There's room for a traditional JRPG that uses that is just a remake of FF9, where you take the characters, take the story, remake it as a 3D JRPG where it starts and ends in there. It's not going to be nearly as it's not going to look like the FF7 remake. Of course, it's not going to have that much like depth of detail in every little environmental thing, but if Tales of Arise can be a thing, then why is it? I think we need to break ourselves away from this idea that a Final Fantasy remake has to go the FF7 remake route.
I just realized, think of like the because I was playing a bit of it. Think of the 4 remake for like 3DS or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Oh god.
It's like Derek said. It's not like $300 million budget, but like it's a significant change to the original version, and it's like very different.
I want to know what Britt wants from the Final Fantasy IX remake, because that's one of her favorite games of all time.
I would love a game that has updated music. I love the original music. I would love to see it orchestrated, like like 7.
I want to hear.
Doesn't have to be an
I want to hear
orchestra.
a remastered, rearranged version of Dark Messenger.
That is a good song. See, 9, like Final Fantasy in general, just has fucking superb music. I think up until 10, even 11. I loved so much music in 11, but I know that's not a lot of people's jam. Honestly, I wouldn't be mad if it were like, it doesn't even have to be as good as 7, right? Like just give me something that is updated to make it noticeable, right? Like Derek said, we already had the HD remaster, so if it does get a remake, I don't think it's going to be the Final Fantasy VII route, which is okay, because I think what they're doing with that is unique and original, and not every Final Fantasy has to be remade. I'm saying it now, not every Final Fantasy has to be remade.
I agree.
And
what do we think? I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry, Britt. I thought you were done. Please continue.
No, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just going to ask, when do we think this is coming out? We know it's real. I mean, it's absolutely fucking real. So
there's no way to know.
Yeah, especially with COVID, right? Like a lot of things got delayed. A lot of things are have been pushed back.
Also, Squeenix is just fucking weird about announcing shit in general.
I think it comes out. I think it comes out this year.
They don't announce shit. Nintendo announces shit.
I think it comes out this year. It's the 35th anniversary of Final Fantasy. They're making a big deal about it. It's got its own logo. The 35th anniversary, like it's coming this year.
I don't think it is.
I do.
If it's what you think it is, John, like maybe hand drawn or something that's like different but not quite as intensive, then yes, I think it could come out this year.
That's what I think too.
I don't, but I don't know necessarily if that's what's going to be, because I'm also just thinking, like, it's weird. I honestly think between you and Derek, or I guess Derek and Brittany, let's say combine them, and then you, I feel like it's in between these lines of thought, because, like, I mean, I'm one of those fucking people that also thinks like Final Fantasy VII Remake is like a sequel as much as it is a fucking remake. Without spoiling anything. So, like, I don't think anything is going to be that. I think a comparison to that is just automatically like you're setting yourself up to fail. But I don't know what else this could be other than, like, I don't know. I'm like caught in the middle between these two lines of thought.
You know,
It's really
I am
weird.
too. Like, I don't know. Like, some of the charm of Final Fantasy IX, right, is like the chibi graphics.
Right.
Mhm.
They're
so
absolutely
like,
keeping that.
Right, and it's like, if they remake it, would they keep that? Would they not? Like, I hope they do,
They
but
would.
I mean, like, you just don't
Fantasy
know.
kind of aesthetic, like
Right.
Final
Yeah.
Fantasy IX remake, but replace Vivi with Jack.
I think if the FF7
Shut the
remake,
fuck up.
No.
if the FF7 remake didn't exist, right, and you
Yeah.
heard the words FF9 remake, this wouldn't be a complicated question.
No, I tell you exactly what I would expect. I would expect those tests for Final Fantasy VI on the N64. That's what I would expect. Something like that.
Yeah, that's what
Well,
I'm thinking
Just a
too.
little bit more advanced.
I know what you're talking
but
about.
Not
Yep.
not quite to the point of what modern gaming is. That's what I would expect. If
People
that
will
Final Fantasy VII remake didn't exist.
Yeah,
I'm
people
sorry, Britt,
have
go on.
remade. No, you're fine. People have remade 9 in there's like mods you can download that like puts 9 that's been remade in Unreal. And that would be fine to me. Like, you know how Ocarina of Time got upgraded to some, like, that remake was like, you know, you could clearly tell that it was upgraded from the 64 version to the DS version. And I honestly think if anything's going to happen, it's going to be the game is the same game. It's just going to have updated graphics. What those graphics are going to be, who knows? They could pixelize it. They could chibify it. They could just Unreal it, you know. I don't know how difficult it is, but I mean, if people can mod that, why couldn't they do that, you know? So,
well,
it's just,
I'm sorry, Britt. I keep interrupting you. Damn it! Why do I keep doing that?
I was just gonna say it's hard to say, and that was the last thing I was gonna say. So go ahead.
Well,
Can I bring up a completely different game.
Yeah, I was gonna move on to a different game. Go ahead, Derek.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you, because there's a lot of stuff on this list that has yet to be announced that I think is very curious. You know, obviously everything Capcom on the list, I'm like super there about FF9 remake. But the thing that I keep coming back to, and maybe it's just because of Jeff's joke on the last podcast.
Is it Tactics?
No, I want to know about this Viking by Criterion.
Viking.
Because there is a game simply titled Viking on that leak list. Published by EA, developed by Criterion. Criterion, to my knowledge, is basically just a racing game studio. And Jeff made the joke about it being longboat racing, which I like. Longboat racing, let's go. But the jokes aside, like that might be, you know, Criterion getting to break out of their normal wheelhouse of just making racing games. And while you know, there's a lot of Norse themed games, you know, getting attention right now, and I don't fucking need another one. It's like
really zombie
exciting.
Games. Like we're good.
Yeah,
we have enough.
It would be really exciting to see a studio break out of a genre that it has traditionally been confined in.
I want to see Viking Kart in longboats in a Mario Kart style. Like, I want Viking Kart. Like, please, just
longboat racing, man. Longboat racing.
Like, no, that's what I'm saying. Make the longboats, but like in like almost like a, maybe not even Mario Kart, but like a wave race style thing, right?
Well,
just like Vikings.
Wave Racers. Does anybody remember that game from the
Wave Racers with the shit? Just like Vikings.
Want to drift the longboat.
Vikings paddling a longboat like impossibly fast and just chucking spears and like axes at each other. Like, yeah, that's what I want from a fucking Viking racing game.
I want them to
Viking
Barry
race.
McCreary remaking fucking Initial D tracks.
Wait! I want wave race, wave race, wave race, Viking wave. Like that's what you call it.
I'm thinking like Burnout Revenge mechanics of like slamming into cars and checking them from the back.
I want to fucking. You remember Road Rash? Give me a medieval Road Rash where you're on horses instead of motorcycles. Just
I'm
like
31 years old.
Make all these fucking games, dude. Viking Kart. I need a Viking Kart game now, Derek. I have no fucking idea what this game could be. Like I don't know shit about
says apparently EA in 2020 canceled a Project Viking, which was a Star Wars game. And this could have been that.
Maybe that's it.
Admittedly, as we talked about, there's things on this list could have been projects that were started and abandoned.
Injustice 3.
And Injustice 3 is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
So,
Injustice 3.
That would suck.
I think
what's funny is that Jason Schreier actually I don't, you guys might have missed this, but he actually confirmed that the Final Fantasy Tactics remaster is in fact real. He was like, "Yep, that's
really
real." Yeah. A couple weeks ago.
I was going to bring up, you saw that, we both saw that, you and I, sorry, John, we saw that thing about Tactics Ogre with a code name.
That's another one. That's another one on the fucking list.
Rematch? Well, because first my question was, is this a remaster or is this an all new Tactics Ogre game?
It's a remaster.
Now that I see it on the list, I'm like, is this Tactics Ogre 1 redone?
That's another one, is fucking Tactics Ogre. So Tactics Ogre was also, a Tactics Ogre remaster was also on the NVIDIA list, and now Tactics Ogre Reborn was trademarked in Japan, which and if I was a betting man, I don't know if anybody else here has played it, but I am willing to bet this is a remaster of Let Us Cling Together.
I've never played it, but I wouldn't be surprised because I know that's the one everybody talks about.
It's the generally accepted to be the best Tactics Ogre game. It would be a super easy port. Because I mean, the port already exists on PSP and Vita.
On Vita, I was about to say.
It would be an easy port to do. So I think that's what that is. Derek, what else is on this fucking list, man?
Can I ask one question? I'm sorry. Yeah. John, if anyone else who wants to, if the Final Fantasy Tactics remaster is real, if Tactics Ogre, do you think they're going to go HD 2D?
Nope.
No, they're just going to go the original graphics, but touched up.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, especially with Tactics, because I mean, Tactics is one of the few games that looks gorgeous to me on mobile.
The artwork, I can see them triangle strategying it though.
But no, I don't think they will. I don't think they will. Because
before Triangle Strategy came out, I thought that was what they were going to do.
I don't.
Then when we got Triangle Strategy, I was like, no, we basically have HD 2D Final Fantasy Tactics right there.
Tactics is one of those few console games that actually looks great on mobile and iOS. Like it looks really fucking good, and they're just going to drag and drop it. Which I'm fine with because it looks great.
Yeah. More people playing a good game.
Derek, what's another? Derek, drop some more games here.
Power Stone.
Let me burn through some games on this list, and then we'll open it up to what everyone thinks is like the coolest shit.
Okay.
Right. So let me get through it. If we're gonna talk about games that were announced and have not been confirmed yet, and also weren't just announcements of PC ports, like these are brand new games. Gears of War 6, Helldivers 2, I believe, still hasn't been officially announced.
I can't believe that's a thing.
The Tactics Ogre remaster, FF7 remaster, FF9 remake, Tomb Raider anniversary of some kind, Resident Evil 4 remake, Resident Evil Outbreak, Monster Hunter 6 / World 2. It would be a world sequel. Dragon's Dogma 2. Total War 9, no Civilization attached to it yet. Mirror's Edge remaster, Viking by Criterion, an untitled Respawn Entertainment game that we were all pretty sure was Fallen Order 2, Titanfall 3, Fight for Middle Earth, which I think we presumed was a sequel to Battle for Middle Earth, Batman Arkham Knight remaster, something called Batman Arkham Insurgency, Mortal Kombat 12, Injustice 3, a BioShock remaster, a new BioShock 2022 title, Destroy All Humans 3, which might be a new game rather than a remaster or remake, Titan Quest 2, Tekken 8, sequel to Metro, XCOM 3, Payday 3, Path of Exile 2, The Talos Principle 2, Goat Simulator 2, Half-Life
Oh my
2.
god,
That's the
why
one.
hasn't that been released?
That's the one right there.
So
Is that it?
That's,
Can I ask a question?
yeah.
When did this list come out? Luna.
It was like
Oh my
last
God, it's Luna.
It was last like
September
July.
Yeah,
July is
something
when
like
it was
that.
great. September is when it was reported on.
So here's the thing. I'm sure a lot of like this list has been a thing for a while at least.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, without a
So
doubt.
I think COVID has delayed that, and probably the variants has delayed that
Absolutely.
I think a lot of stuff on here has been delayed.
because of COVID.
Yeah.
If I was a
If
betting
not,
man, I think
canceled. Again, we know Injustice 3 was real at one point, and from everything we've heard, was canceled early in development. So like,
I 100% believe that Resident Evil 4 remake will get announced in June and will get released this like Halloween-ish. That's what I think.
We know it's coming.
We
It's
know it's
gotta be
Right,
coming,
because
yeah.
fucking DC Douglas spilled the beans
Yeah.
and then tried
Right.
to cover it up.
Well,
Yeah.
no. Apparently, that was like, from what I understand, that wasn't from Resident Evil 4 remake. I mean, it is the game is coming, but like apparently that was concept art from a game that got canceled or something. And so she was trying to be all big dick on fucking social media.
Also, my understanding of Resident Evil Outbreak is that it's actually Resident Evil Revelations 3.
No, we went through this on the podcast last time.
Well, and Derek and I talked about it off podcast.
There were insiders, people like Dusk Golem, who were claiming that the confusing titled Resident Evil game on the Capcom leak was actually Revelations 3 and a Switch exclusive and canceled. But some of that stuff's messy, right? And you don't always know to trust insider information.
You're right.
But Resident Evil Outbreak is a very specific sub-series. There were 2 of them on the PS2. And would theoretically be a very different thing. It could still be a canceled game, but it's probably not Revelations 3.
Okay, no, I remember that conversation.
It would be Outbreak 3. Basically.
What about Dragon's Dogma 2? I don't think that's this year at all.
Me and Wout are going to ascend.
Not this year. You're not. I don't think it's coming out this year.
No, absolutely not. It might get revealed this year.
It might get revealed this year. What else did we have on there?
We do not
Titanfall 3. Titanfall 3. I don't think that's actually a real game. I think that got
Titanfall 3
canned.
might be canceled.
I think that got
Can
canned.
I just say, why the fuck? I mean, this is the weirdest thing. I believe 100% Take-Two would make a BioShock remaster because they just fucking love money. But I'm like, you just did a remaster like 5 years ago. Why the fuck would you remaster that game a second time?
Well, it was supposed to be remade with not remade, but like heavily remastered with like ray tracing and stuff like that.
Think Skyrim. It
was explicitly listed as an RTX remaster.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now there is a new BioShock
I still think
game
it's
coming.
dumb, but okay.
Like Jeff, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you can finish.
No. Please.
Oh. I don't know. Like, there's a couple that stand out to me. One is the Batman Arkham Insurgency. I don't know what that game
Batman
is supposed
Tactics.
To be. So, like, if it's like tied into the Arkham series, I don't remember if it was on the podcast or in the Discord. Someone pointed out the hilarious fact that like that Gotham Knights, despite carrying over almost every plot thread from Arkham Knight, is not in the Arkham Knight universe.
So
that
blew my fucking mind when I learned that.
That makes me laugh every time I fucking hear
it.
I hate it.
But the I don't know, the other one, which I guess people maybe find kind of boring, but I find interesting, is the Half-Life 2 remaster. Like Valve has not really Valve has not really done a lot of that kind of stuff.
Bring that shit
honestly,
to consoles.
The first Half-Life could like get a port thrown onto like
be necessary before you get Half-Life 3 moving is to finally
because the Half-Life 2, it's on Xbox backwards compatibility in 4K only at 30 FPS. And like, but honestly, that game doesn't need any work. That game at 4K looks fucking incredible.
After Half-Life Alex,
it is a great game to
I
play.
believe they're working on Half-Life 3 finally. Like
Alex makes it very clear they're working on 3. So
I still need to play that, but the general buzz I've heard, it sounds like it.
They're making Half-Life 3.
Yeah,
just seeing Half-Life 2 remaster on a list like this when Valve like doesn't do a lot of that stuff, I'm like,
What if they're making it and then in like a year and a half
this.
it gets canceled?
I have a question for the group because this is a game that means quite a bit to me. We brought up Final
Payday
Fantasy
3.
We no, definitely not Payday 3. We brought up Tactics earlier. When do we think Tactics gets released?
That could be a this year thing.
Do you think it's this
I
year?
could see that being this year,
Like
and
this
not
summer?
Final Fantasy 9.
Like this summer,
Like
maybe
I
or
could-
something.
I could see Tactics being the 35 anniversary.
There's two
Yeah.
And not
possibilities. If it's what y'all think it is, and it's just a slightly touched up port,
That's all it is.
basically.
Like,
Well, let me finish. If it's just that's all it is. Absolutely this year. If Britt and I are right, and they actually do veer into the fuck it. I'm recommitting. If Britt and I are right, and it actually
Take
is like
that
an
wine and go,
2D
girl.
thing, exactly. If it is that like actual full on remake, like triangle strategy style, then that's going to be next year. If that's the case, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I almost think you guys are right.
I bet it's coming.
I want to believe.
I bet it's coming. I wouldn't be surprised if this was timed to the Pixel remasters releasing on consoles.
maybe I can see that.
I
Like,
agree with that.
I can see that.
Because we know that's going to come, and they're going to be like, "Hey, give us another $60."
And I
or
think
$70
I think
or
those Pixel remasters are coming this summer at some point. That
Or
seems
that
like a good
maybe
time.
not like day and date together, but I think there'll be a
within
1-2
proximity.
punch.
Yeah, within proximity of each other.
yeah.
Now, here's the real question: Tactics Ogre and Final Fantasy Tactics are very thematically and visually similar. Do those get like if one comes out this year? I don't think you're going to see the other one until next year. And I'd be willing to bet that Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics, is coming first. Derek, is there anything else on there that we want to mention?
There's a lot on here that's sick as fuck.
I'd like to
we would
hijack the
need so
podcast
much
for a
more
second.
time.
I mean, I don't mind going a little late.
Go, Blaine. Go.
I'd like to hijack the podcast for a second. I did mention the Max Payne 1 and 2 remakes before, and I just want to say Alan Wake 2 was on this list. It got confirmed and released, and now this could be Remedy's chance to actually tie in the Max Payne universe, because almost everyone in this call knows what I'm talking about, but I need to explain it for you folks. I have been conspiracy theorizing over Max Payne being connected to Control and Alan Wake for literally like 2.5 years. And
You've got the cork board.
I literally have a cork board that I've considered repurposing for this. I have a cork board for my own memories, but I almost repurposed it for this podcast. I got lazy at the last minute. But I have put the work in. So much of Max Payne could be confirmed to be like altered world events that tie into Control, whether it be the Valkyr drug that basically gives people fucking superpowers, whether it be the Storm of the Century that only continued to the moment where Max assassinated someone. The fact that Max can't fucking die because he fucking gets shot and just takes painkillers and he's like, oh, whatever, I'm fine. That all being said, in the Alan Wake 2 trailer, there's actually a train station that has at least 2 of the same stops as the Roscoe Street station from Max Payne 1. Yes, I have literally combed through old footage to do this. I hope to God that these remakes being confirmed means that they're actually going to tie it in and it's not just Rockstar going, yeah, whatever, just make a flat out remake. Because I would die. I would lose my mind. And
that would actually
validated.
make me interested in Max Payne.
You had
honestly.
my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
And Derek, remember me and my weird divination abilities. I said to you on Twitter when you were like, "Oh, Resident Evil 4 remake," and we were all basically shit posting. I was like, "Oh, it's going to be the Hookman demo." Then Resident Evil Village came out, and it was basically the Hookman demo re-visualized. And then they like all this little information we've been hearing about the Resident Evil 4 remake is they're going to go in totally a different direction. And I'm like, what did I say? What did I fucking say?
All right, we
I was in for Max Payne anyway, but
we are past our time here, so it's probably time to wrap up. Derek, I'm so glad you were able to join the call, buddy. That made me happy.
This was a really fun podcast.
This was a good one. This was a really good one. Blaine, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure.
I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely.
Couple of
you need to be on more.
Invite me whenever. I'm in the new house now.
Couple of last minute things here. Let's get these going in chat. We do have a Discord with now over, I believe, 350 people. We're trying to. I would love to reach 500 by the end of the year. We are a very cool, small, wholesome little gaming community that values positivity, inclusivity, and mental well-being. And we would love to have you in there. So check that link out right there. We've also got some merchandise, various shirts and hoodies. It's a little too warm for hoodie season now, but whatever. Shirts, hoodies, and some mugs.
It's always too warm for hoodies where I'm at.
You see, yeah, but the shirts are mad comfy. And every dollar you spend, we don't get any of it. Every dollar you spend goes towards one of various charities, be it Black Girls Code or Able Gamers or the Trevor Project. So please, by all means, look good, feel comfortable, and help out a good cause at the same time. And of course, you can follow us on Twitter at official SDGC. And don't forget, we go live right here, just as we did tonight, every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is all the time we have for tonight. Britt and I very soon are going to be recording a second Chrono Cross podcast. We're both about to finish the game. Oh, Britt, you've already finished, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I took a break for a few days.
Okay.
I was going to, and then I took a break. But I'm like right there.
Yeah, me too.
I'm at the city before the last place.
I'm about to reach Opasa Beach. Like for the last time. So yeah, we are going to record our final thoughts on the Chrono Cross remaster here, hopefully this weekend. I would love to do that. And we've, of course, got a lot of great content coming up for you later as well. So thank you very much for joining us tonight, everyone. And for everybody listening on, all major podcast services, thank you as well. It's been a blast. And as always, don't forget, kindness costs nothing. Have a good week, and we'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.